About 12 years ago, I had a very high maintenance girlfriend, and I was spending practically all of my life savings, and still she needed some money for something. I can't remember what she needed the money for. So I had taken a bunch of antique books that I had been collecting for some time, and I went to a dealer to see what I could sell them for. I used to go to Goodwill, thrift stores, look for antique books. And my girlfriend was with me. We drove to the dealer, and I asked the dealer how much he would offer for these books, and he told me to come back in 15 minutes for the quotes. So my girlfriend and I, we took a walk to a few other places, and we came back, and the amount was a shocker. It was very low. And there were several books that I actually wanted to keep. So I asked the dealer, well, how about everything except for these 3 books that I actually wanted to keep? And I thought he in my mind, I thought that he had assigned a number to every one of those books. I was naive at the time. That's what I naively believed in my mind. I thought he could just give me a number right off the bat. And he said he'll need another 10 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, well, where'd you get those numbers from then? Now, fast forward a couple years later, now that I've broken up with that girl, I had gone to a coin dealer this time. I wanted to trade some of my silver for gold. The gold to silver ratio had fallen to, I believe, 35 to 1, I want to say. This was in 2011. And I go to the dealer, and he throws out a bunch of confusing numbers. I ended up having to sell my silver at one dealer and go to a different dealer to buy gold. Because every dealer that I went to, that I tried to make that trade, threw out so many confusing numbers, so many different kinds of gold coins or bars that I could buy, and I couldn't get a straight answer. It wasn't like, oh, just give me, let's say the ratio was 35, just give me 38 ounces of silver, I'll give you an ounce of gold. No, the dealers are not going to do that. They throw out so many confusing terms to confuse you, right? And I learned from those 2 experiences that those numbers that the dealer gives you, they don't represent what your books or your coins or your cars, if you're selling a car, what it's worth. They represent what the dealer thinks he can offer you. So I learned a couple years ago when I went to trade my car, I learned to park my car at the far end of the dealer's lot, so it looked like I walked into the car dealer, and I negotiated the car I wanted to buy, completely separate from my own car. And he finally comes up with a number that's mutually agreeable. I actually have the cash to give him that if I needed to keep my car. And then I can haggle selling my car. See, when you do it that way, it takes the room for confusion and tosses it out the window, right? What I should have done with the gold and silver that time was to look at a gold coin at the dealer's shop that I wanted to buy, negotiate with them, and then say, oh, by the way, I have this silver right here, right? Or with the books, I should have kept those 3 books that I wanted to keep off of the table first, offer the rest of them that I definitely want to sell anyway, and maybe even haggle a little bit more, and tell them, by the way, I hate to part with these 3 books, but if the price is right, I can do it, right? So the key takeaway is that when you go to sell anything, the price that somebody's offering you does not represent the value of what you want to sell. It represents what he thinks he can get away with it, right? Oh, by the way, I do private tutoring, and the clients do that a lot to me. I've had clients offer something and then end up paying 3 or 4 times more because what they offered was what they thought they could get away with. I've learned during the pandemic, before the pandemic, I used to naively think that I could win the clients over by going overtime or going beyond. No, it doesn't work that way. The clients learn that, hey, I took advantage of him last time. How much more can I take advantage of him? See, when I actually leave on time, it never works. The clients realize that I'm valuable, and they realize they have to offer something to keep me. And so I really lost out big time when I was going overtime. Not only was I wasting my own time, I was ruining my reputation, and I was making it okay for them to want even more stuff, and I lost a lot of clients that way.